Agnieszka. I'm the COO of AAP, and I'm joined by Robbie, who's working in the sales department, who initiated the contact with you for us to be able to present today. So we would like to present you briefly AAP. We've been on the market already for 30 years. We are a manufacturer of trauma. We are situated and located directly in Berlin. We have also here our manufacturing site. We're a small, medium-sized company. We have around 120 people altogether. We are a pure player in trauma. We do the full supply chain here from our manufacturing site in Berlin. So the full product life cycle from development, manufacturing, marketing, we steer here from Berlin. We have currently one subsidiary which is located in the US, which is a pure sales company, which is covering the US market for us, where we started the business in 2015. We have two platform technologies that I would like to present to today. One is already on the market and started as a brand, LOQTEQ, in the plate and screw osteosynthesis. Under the brand name LOQTEQ in 2011-2012, and we have the antibacterial silver coating technology, where we entered into the human clinical trial period in December 2021, and which I want to present also as an outlook of our product pipeline. So these are the two pillars of our business. You see on the left side, you see LOQTEQ, our anatomical plating and screw portfolio, which, as I mentioned, we have on the market and for which we're actively seeking distributors in Europe, but also worldwide. And then the other pillar is our silver coating technology, where we started the human clinical trial study in Germany in December 2021 in order to gain the clinical data to achieve CE approval and then also be able to market it as a full portfolio worldwide. So starting with LOQTEQ technology. Our LOQTEQ technology is basically incorporated in our plates and screw designs. As you can see in the video, it is based on the principle of one hole, one screw, one step, compression and locking in one surgical step. It is based on a patented technology, which is the interference between the plate hole and the screw design, where you can see that we do have a screw, a locking compression screw that has a screw head, which is split into a threaded and a plain part, and that slides into the corresponding plate hole in order to bridge a gap of up to 2 millimeters in one step. This is the IP protected technology that is incorporated in our plate and screw portfolio, and that of course is the unique technology, giving also one of the major USPs to our portfolio. It is enabling a high stable screw plate interference. It does prevent cold welding situations, and it has meant to also enhance the implant removal of the screw after the fracture is healed. Basically, the technology incorporates not only the one hole, one screw, one step design, which of course is the leading technology incorporated. Our portfolio is also designed according to the anatomical design. It has minor contact undercuts, all the markets needed design and quality features that a plate and screw portfolio in the area of trauma in orthopedics needs in order to be on the market. We have the technology protected by 4 superior patent families for the design and the fixation technology. We do have the biomechanical properties compared to the market leader that show across the full range higher biomechanical stabilities. We are covering the most common fracture patterns. We are also developing into elective and periprosthetic fractures, and our portfolio as a quality design is not only registered under the CE mark. We have also the full portfolio range in the US established for, of course, for the marketing in the US, but we also have gained approvals from the NMPA, which is the Chinese regulation, from Anvisa, the Brazil one, from Saudi Arabia, etc. So in all the countries where we sell, we of course have gained the registration approval, and of course mainly in the core markets. Our portfolio, which you can see here, basically covers the fracture types to be treated from upper to lower extremities. So we do cover the parts clavicle, proximal humerus, up to also the foot and calcaneus part. We have a well-established also two solutions for elective and periprosthetic fractures. So for the elective fractures, we do offer a system which corrects the knee alignment. So, you know, easy to speak, you have either the x-axis of the leg, which needs to be corrected, and we do also treat periprosthetic fractures, which are a growing challenge when it comes to trauma and orthopedics, also based on the aging population and the challenges that elderly people bring with them when they do have fractures to heal. So to sum up, it's a comprehensive portfolio. It has incorporated a platform technology with patent protected features. It is addressing the current trauma challenges. Of course, it is a growing portfolio. So it's, as you can see, it is not a complete portfolio where we can cover each and every bone with each and every fracture, but we are of course working on the product pipeline in order to add constantly, year by year, plates to the portfolio. Of course, currently more is added in the US. Everyone knows about the challenges of the MDR. So of course, our current innovations and developments are first registered in the US, but of course, we are working heavily on the MDR approval, which we hopefully will gain within the next month, so that we can then also align on new developments in the CE market. Yeah, this is just an example that of course our plates are also supported by clinical papers, biomechanical papers, where they are compared by surgeons to the market or to the benchmark in the market. Here, for instance, it is the comparison of one of our elective portfolios to the market leader from Depucentis. And what is maybe also a core feature of us is we do produce, as I mentioned before, we do produce the products here in Berlin. We not only claim it's made in Germany, but it is made in Germany. We buy the raw material mainly from European sources, and the full production cycle of our implants is basically here at site. Regarding the instruments, we source them from other German companies. As you might know, in Germany, there is an area called Tuttlingen. There is a lot of instrument manufacturers. So the general instrumentation we source from there. And the specific LOQTEQ instruments, we also do produce ourselves here in Berlin. We do produce, as you can see on the slide, we do produce from the full rod, which is an add-on to the quality, and also, of course, does influence the biomechanical properties of the finalized product. If you do mill from the full rod, you don't need to bend and pre-bend the material in order to gain the anatomical shape, as from the full rod, the 3- and 5-axis machines that we have here do the job of the anatomical shaping. Our products are made out of medical titanium alloy, which is mainly grade 4 and 5, which of course has also higher biomechanical properties than either pure titanium. And also when it comes, of course, to allergies and acceptance of the material, of course, also different if you use any other material. Then we come to our second platform technology, which is the silver coating, with which we want to address, or we are addressing in the clinical trial already, the growing number of surgical site infections, which does put a burden on healthcare worldwide. I assume everyone is familiar with the infection rates that can happen or do happen intraoperatively. Of course, it is also a bit dependent on the various regions worldwide, when it also comes to hygiene, but also generally also the length of how long it takes for a patient to be brought into surgical care, which is of course different in Western parts of the world than maybe in other parts of the world. Surgical site infections are a growing threat to patients, especially because it puts a high burden on them when the implants, whether it's plates and screws, hips and knees, or nails, they need to be removed in order to treat the infection. And one of the reasons for surgical site infections is not only a hygiene topic, but it is of course also the growing number of patients where antibiotics do not help to combat infections. And in order to offer another solution,
I'm sorry, Agnieszka, but you locked again.
We lost contact.
Yeah.
Solution, we did treatment. It is a such
Agnieszka,
has stretched off.
We missed.
It is
It's coming back. Okay. Okay. Would you please repeat the last two sentences?
Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought that the connection would be stable here in the office. Sorry for that. No, I just wanted, basically, I was just repeating that the highest, that of course, surgical site infections is putting a great threat to healthcare in general, but also to the treatment of patients with implants in general. And that it also, one of the reasons is also the growing how do you call it, the growing pursuance of antibiotics, that antibiotics do not work as they should in most patients because they already have a great acceptance, and that of course we are working on a coating technology, but it is not a coating as such. It's an additional layer on top of the implant surface. It is a treatment of the surface. It is a PO treatment that we do. So the silver that we incorporate into the surface of the implant, it cannot peel off or be scratched off, but it's incorporated in the surface. We just use the name coating because it's a standardized name in the industry, but it is not a coating technology as maybe some might think when they hear of it. It is a very cost-effective technology that we developed. We did start the human clinical trial study based on, of course, our portfolio, where we incorporate the antibacterial silver into the surface. We have initiated the clinical human trial study in December 2021, and we need to incorporate around 300 patients. So it is still ongoing. But it is for us also proven that so far the cases show good results. And of course, some surgeons already use our technology for so-called last rescue cases, or also compassionate use cases, as it's called in the US, in order to treat patients where other therapies do not work anymore. We do see a wide and huge potential in our technology, because we also have started tests on various other products, whether it's pacemakers, nails, hips and knees, spine, or surgical instruments. So the silver coating technology that we generate is not only there to support the healing or to support the combating of the infection already existing, but it is also set up in order to prevent bacterial colonization and also prevent that the biofilm can form on the surface of any implant, which of course biofilm is one of the reasons that will lead then to infection. Yeah. So this is basically our timeline. Our project is sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. We are, as we mentioned, currently still in the patient enrollment and implantation follow-up phase. of course, 300 patients with certain indications, and to meet the study protocol, it takes, of course, its time. We are one of the first of such a study in the field of trauma. And our goal is in 2025 to submit for MDR approval, and then of course between 2025 2026 to go into market launch. Of course, that is always depending how notified bodies and generally MDR applications will run. This is the outlook.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up, Agnieszka, thank you, that you have 4 minutes remaining.
Yeah, thank you.
Slot. So feel free to do the closing, and then we should move to the questions.
Yeah, so this is basically what we wanted to present. We wanted to present you the portfolio that we already have on the market, but also give you an outlook of the technology which we're working on, which will not only be incorporated, of course, into our existing portfolio, but is also a leverage for other portfolios of partners or other third parties that might want to join our technology story. So, as I mentioned, we're 30 years on the market. We are based in Berlin, in Germany. We do have already an extensive network of distributors around the globe, but of course we are here in order to present ourselves and also to invite you to join our distribution network. And and thank you for your attention, and feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you, Agnieszka, for your presentation. Thank you very much. So, as mentioned, are there any questions regarding the presentation that we just witnessed?
Can I ask a question, please? Do you produce these trauma items only in titanium, or do you also produce with cobalt chrome or stainless steel? And no,
only titanium alloy. Yeah,
titanium alloy. Okay. Yeah. And then you cover, it's like you do the covering, the silver covering, correct?
For the silver technology, we do treat the surface. So they go into electrolytic bath. Yeah, where under electrolyte, the surface is treated. Yeah. Okay. And the silver ions are incorporated in the surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all trauma items are produced with titanium alloy, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Agnieszka, Vaslav here from Aspironics Czech. Impressive what you guys have accomplished so far. My question would be, how do you see your competition at the moment? What would be your direct competitors?
The direct competitors, we had to divide them into 2 levels. Of course, you have the market leaders as Depul, Synthes, Stryker, Smith & Nephew, and some others. But then, of course, you have this middle line. Yeah, you have another German manufacturer in the same size. You know, you have some Swiss-based companies and some French also. Of course, this is our main competition. Yeah, we are well aware of that. This is also why we are so focused, next to, of course, establishing the portfolio in other countries, further developing the pipeline in order to generate new products, but at the same time forcing so much the silver technology, because with that we will have in a foreseeable time a unique standing position on the market. And so this is why we are also presenting that technology, although it is still in human clinical trial. But we are very convinced of the results, and we know that together with this, we will have in a foreseeable time a very unique standing on the market when it comes especially to orthopedics.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually where I was going to. Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Vaslav, for a question. All right, so room for one last question. Anybody? Because